Hello and welcome to IFN615's first tutorial. It's in week 2 and what I'm covering today is what is information. So I'm going to actually run this and a couple of tutorials in asynchronous mode because I want you to take away some of these bigger concepts and think about them. Find an example, work through the example and put your activity up. I don't want to pressure you to do that and find that in the 1 hour that we have together, but while we're still at this beginning stage of considering what is information and who are we and what value do we add as information managers, I wanted to offer you the ability to do that over the course of the week rather than with that one single time slot. So I'm just going to post this short video and then I expect, and I'll be checking on the activities that you post and we'll have a discussion in the Google Plus community. Okay. So I'm just quickly going through some of the things that Kate brought up in her first lecture about what is information. I would like you to think about the DIKW pyramid theory about what is data, what is information, what is knowledge, and what is wisdom. And I think these are interesting things to think about and important as information managers so that we can show our value. When I was having a little bit of look around the internet, lots of things about data-driven approaches to business, data-driven decision-making, and, big data. Data is a big word at the moment. What I think is really valuable is this little diagram, and I've got the website there that I grabbed it from, starts to talk about how things can be transformed within the one organization. So these kinds of discussions are always contextual because what is data, information, knowledge, or wisdom for my family organization, my work organization being, for example, the QT Law School where my day job is, or the IFN615 teaching team, or the School of Information Systems where I'm a social academic, or even the science and engineering faculty. All of those different contexts, these items will be different, these levels will be different. But I think it's really good to think about data are just bits. Now, being a tech person originally, it really helps me to think of data in bits because they are signals. They don't know anything. They may be, as Kate was saying earlier, sounds, sights, smells, documents, words, images, anything that can be captured. But independent of each other, they're just signals. They're just signals to the human brain or to the computer that they're going into. When they're given context and given some sort of taxonomy or structure, then they can become information. Information is useful, organized, and is structured in some way. How useful, how organized, and how structured depends again on your context. When that information is then given meaning, see here, given meaning, it becomes knowledge. It becomes much more contextual. It becomes synthesized. It may be learning. So we take information about certain contexts and we may be able to apply it to different contexts. We may be able to extrapolate ideas and actions about particular contexts. When we then build on that to have insight, it becomes wisdom, which is understanding, is integrated, is actionable in the long term and at a more strategic scale. So I think this little graphic helps understand where information sits in organizations. Because Kate's our philosopher, I'm our more practical girl. And I want us to get a handle on how we as information management people bring value, add impact to organizations. All right, so something I'd like to contrast for you and want you to have a think about at the moment is Camilo's memory theatre that Kate talked about, and quite a new app is seen as something that's quite innovative is something called Map. And that's a Google app. I'm just going to show you really quickly the two of them, but I want you to think about the human brain's capacity to process information, to make use of information, and for it to be valuable to an individual or an organization. So when we say we're in this information age and the information economy, I wonder how much that is true and how much that is current hype. So what I'm just going to do is end the slideshow and show you. Here it is. This is my Map. Okay, it's a Google Chrome app. You can, I'll just show you here. If you go to the Chrome App Store, you can install my Map. Okay, I've installed it. What it does is link your different cloud accounts. So I've got some Google files and some Dropbox things. I haven't linked Evernote yet. I'm not about to. And then I don't use Box. I've got enough different cloud storage. What I find really interesting is this. It's fascinating. Is this information? Is this data? What is this here? So my Map talks about productivity and be able to find connections between all of your files and data visualization, making everything more wonderful. And look, I'm sure depending on your personal skill at information management, mine's kind of a dump in this folder and go strategy. Don't follow my example on that. I wonder whether this is information management yet. I think really it's just data visualization. Okay, it's not yet at a place where it brings any use to me. What I do need to do, and this is showing the different tools that I have here, I'd have to use some tags. I can use different sources. It shows me, for example, lots of documents, lots of JPEGs, because I have lots of visual work that I do. Apparently it's been mostly updated in the last few weeks, probably because I only got this app just recently. Sizes of files, all of these things, they're just data at the moment. They're not information that's useful to me. They're not bringing something to the table that I can turn into knowledge about how I work or find better ways of working or any of those things yet. So this is a new thing, and it's just as an example on my account, but it shows who I'm working with, the types of files I'm using, what are the things that are connected, those sorts of things. So it's very interesting, and it makes me wonder about this information management versus data-driven economy. It's really an interesting place that we are in right now. So if I go back to our slides, there we go. We're back to our slides. I've mucked around with two screens. I just want you to think about we have various tools, but I think management of information is something that has been an ongoing theme in human society for as long as people have been able to express that they are thinking about things. So anyway, enough esoteric thought. I just perhaps caution you against this idea that this information age is so much different to any other time in history. The other thing I want you to think about is Kate mentioned Shannon's model of communication, and I wonder if we're thinking about the DIKW pyramid, when does information, data, information, knowledge, wisdom, when do these things start to affect our beliefs? When do these things have impact? And I think it's useful to keep this in mind when you're thinking about the activity we're going to do. So, what's the activity? What I want you to do is identify a context or an organization. It might be where you work, it might be where you study, it might be where you live, it might be a hobby group or a community that you're a part of. Okay? What I'd like you to do is to sketch out or visualize in some way what a DIKW pyramid might look like for that context. What's the data in that context? What is information? What is not information? If the information was going to be turned into knowledge, what would need to happen to it? How would it be processed and given context and given meaning? And then how would those pieces of knowledge become wisdom? How are those things relevant to your organization? How do you provide value? How do you provide impact for the information that you're managing in that context? I also would like you to have a try at, and these are hard things, and there's no right or wrong answer. What level do you think Shannon's theory comes into play in your context? So when these items have the ability to change beliefs in your organization, how can these items affect your emotions and your decisions? How might they change beliefs? So you think they can, but how might they change beliefs? And I want you to, whether you sketch that out or you can record like I am. Screencast-O-Matic is free for up to 15 minutes. There you go. You know that this is going to end after 15 minutes. Post something of this on the G Plus community. All right. If you do it in groups in the tutorial after the lecture, just take a picture of what you do together and post it up in the G Plus, because this is where we're going to get the most benefit from that learning, is that collaborative learning, while we start to get a grip of what we think information and information management is about. And then you'll start to fine tune that for your own individual projects and activities that you do. So my last little slide today is that if you've got no clue where to start with this activity, you can't identify your own context or organization, you don't want to do it, or you can't figure out what to start with, I'm giving you one. This is the children's bookcase in my house. Okay, so my family consists of me, still 38 for a few more weeks, 38-year-old woman, a 7-year-old child, and an 11-year-old child. Okay, so there's your context. This is the children's bookcase. There are things there. Some of the things are data. Some ways we might combine the pieces of data would give us information. Some ways we might then add context and insight to that information might produce knowledge, even wisdom eventually. Have a go at that. What do you think, or how do you think Shannon's theory might apply in this instance? What pieces of information could we draw out of this context that might change people's minds about something? It's pretty crazy, but sometimes it can help to start with a fairly narrow, simple example before you start tackling what is the data, information, knowledge and wisdom for QUT library, or the whole of science and engineering faculty. That's hard stuff, yeah? So you can start small, or I would really love to see you have a go at this for your family, your community, your workplace, a small section of your workplace. Start exercising your theoretical muscles and your application of theory to real world, right? And I look forward to seeing a sketch or a diagram or a slide or whatever you like, or fully written out in sentences if that's your bag. It's just not mine, but that's okay. On the Google Plus site. I'll leave it a few days before I put my version of this up, because I want you to have a go at it yourselves. If you have any questions, just tag me in the G Plus community and I will answer that as soon as I can. I look forward to learning and working with you more over the semester, and let's go. Let's start thinking about what information is.